Fist of Blood, released on April 5, 2021. The story begins as Kenji Nakamura, at the age of 6, witnesses his father, Ryujin Nakamura, kill his mother, Ayumi Nishijo, coveting an ancient seal, which she herself was tasked to protect. Before her demise, Ayumi placed the seal's power inside Kenji as a last resort, while Ryujin was blinded. The young Kenji was next in line to fall by Ryujin's might, but luckily he was saved. Hachi Hinogami, Ryujin's rival, takes Kenji in and trains him in the art of Hinogami Ryu. Years passed, and Kenji, now 17, is ready to face his father after learning the history of the pendant he was given as a child. Kyosho Shirayuki is a ninja who enters the Chi-no-Ken tournament to revenge against the Nakamura Empire for the presumed death of his adopted father, Gonzo Shirayuki. At infancy, Kyosho was abandoned and was found by Gonzo in a small village during a raid mission. Gonzo raised the infant for years and trained him in the art of Shirayuki ninjutsu. One day, when Kyosho turns 18, a group of mercenaries attacked the Shirayuki clan's village and stole an ancient scroll. An explosion occurred and Gonzo is reported missing. Assuming Gonzo is dead, Kyosho goes into a rage and swears to avenge his master's death. Miku Hiroshima is a 15-year-old young woman who also enters the tournament looking to take down Ryujin and the Nakamura Empire. She is trained in the art of Shotokan by her grandfather, and by her 15th birthday she became his top student. One day after school, she gets a disturbing call from an unknown assailant claiming her grandfather owes a huge debt and will die if it's not paid. Miku rushes to the hospital to see her grandfather and eventually learns that he was a former employee of Nakamura Empire and was tied into a trade gone wrong. Miku trains day and night for the competition. Quan Williams, a Muay Thai fighter from New York. He enters the tournament to get payback for the death of his father, Nathaniel Williams, a well-known and respected businessman. Since his father's demise, Quan's life took a turn for the worse as he ends up living the street life, hustling in street fights to survive. One day Quan was arrested. During his bid, he met a former Muay Thai champion who gives him exclusive information about Ryujin Nakamura. 3 years later, upon hearing about the tournament, Quan flies to Japan to enter. Rio Sanchez, a jiu-jitsu fighter with a dream. Rio enters the tournament to win the prize money to establish his own dream restaurant. During his time in Japan, he runs into Kenji Nakamura, the 17-year-old with a chip on his shoulder. Sensing Kenji's fighting passion, Rio often challenges him to a fight. But Kenji disregards him, believing he's wasting his time. Upon hearing about the tournament, Rio trains extra hard to prove, not only to Kenji but to himself, he will be a challenge. Tsubaki Nishijo, the daughter of the current leader of the Nishijo clan. As a child, she often heard stories about her mother Asuka and her aunt Ayumi. However, the stories of victories turn into a sad reality as she hears that Ayumi Nishijo was killed by her uncle Ryujin Nakamura. She and her mother were given a task to kill Ryujin and anyone connected to him. Now, the Chi-no-Ken tournament begins. In the elimination round, Kenji defeats Shannon Skyward, an assassin hired by Ryujin to kill him. Kyosho defeats Hachi Hinogami. Miku defeats Keith Zangs, an MMA fighter who wishes to seek redemption after being linked to a scandal which cost him his career. Quan defeats Rio. Tsubaki defeats Shinmaru Amakusa, Ryujin's bodyguard, who bears a grudge against Tsubaki's mother from a humiliating defeat years prior. The quarterfinals commence as Kenji defeats Kyosho. After the fight, Kyosho gives Kenji a heads-up about Ryujin's intentions. Miku defeats Quan. Tsubaki and her mother Asuka clash. During their fight, they both sense an evil presence, not knowing where it comes from. Asuka, starting to fatigue, withdraws from the tournament to continue her mission. Tsubaki agrees to stay in the tournament just in case she may end up fighting the source of the evil presence. In the semi-finals, Kenji is scheduled to face Miku Hiroshima. An overconfident Miku believes Kenji isn't really competition, but ends up being humbled in the end. During the fight, an immense power awakens inside Kenji. Tsubaki, at that moment, leaves the tournament grounds and heads back to the Nishiho village to make a report. She eventually learns that Kenji is her long-lost cousin. The elder, however, creates an ultimatum. Kenji is to kill Ryujin and train under the Nishijo clan's tutelage, or die if he refuses to join them. Kenji, advancing to the final round, faces off against his father Ryujin and ultimately defeats him. Declared the winner, Kenji gives the prize money to Miku and Ryo before he departs from the tournament, leaving Ryujin unconscious. Ryujin is stunned at the fact that the power he coveted for years was inside his own son. A few days after the tournament, Ryo was able to establish his restaurant, which became a successful franchise. Despite not winning the tournament, Kyosho and a group of ninjas attacked the remainder of the Nakamura Empire's research facilities and retrieved the ancient scroll. Back in New York, Kwon trains in a local gym. In fact, he was hired as a personal trainer. Learning that Kenji is the son of his sworn enemy, he trains for the day ahead. He would have the opportunity to face Kenji next time he sees him. Miku, after being given the prize money, heads back to the hospital to visit her grandfather. Her grandfather apologizes for getting her involved in his problems. After hearing about the Nakamura Empire falling, Miku used the money that was originally intended to pay off the debt. She spent it on the medical bills and shopping. In the aftermath, Ryujin appears to still be alive. Barely conscious, he is taken to a facility in a secluded area to recover. As for Kenji, he meets with Tsubaki and agrees to train under the tutelage of the Nishiju clan to honor his mother.